Hi guys, how are you all doing? I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today. So today's video is going to be I guess the beginning of a little series I'm going to do. So I'm going to divide the videos based on a certain task. So today's video is going to be brushes that I use for bronzer, and then the next video I'm planning to do brushes that I use for like liquid and creams, mainly foundations. So if you guys do like these videos, please, let me know in the comments or give it a like so I could, gauge whether these are videos worth doing. And so with that, let's just get started. So I'm going to do the Hakuhodo bronzer brushes first. These aren't necessarily considered bronzer brushes. These are just brushes that I use for bronzer. So the first one I want to talk about, and I'm going to demo the brushes if I can. I do have my cream bronzer and a little cream blush on, but like the powder brush bronzer brushes, I'm going to show them in action if I can. So the first one is the B110. So this is my newest brush that I use for bronzer, and it's technically a blush brush, but I've been using it for bronzer better because it is a very fluffy brush, as you can see, and the bristles are pretty long. It's not really densely packed, but it's not super loosely packed either. It's kind of right in the middle. I have a brush that I'm going to mention next that is a very loosely packed brush that gives a different effect, but this, in my opinion, gives a very light application of powder bronzer. So let me show you guys how that looks. So I'm going to use the Hourglass baked bronzer here. So the way I use this, I'll do it on this side. I just kind of pat it along areas that I put my cream bronzer to give that area more of like a sheen, and just to kind of build the color up a little. I don't like putting a ton of cream bronzer. I just kind of like layering them. So most days I use both. If I'm really lazy, I'll just do one or the other. But that's how the B110 looks. And a lot of my brushes are going to be dirty because I'm trying to not wash them as much as I have been, because I was washing them very often, and a lot of them are shedding a lot, and just trying to preserve them. So that's the B110. It's Hakuhodo's best-selling blush brush, but to me, just because of the size, it is, it covers so much space. I think it's really great for doing a very like diffuse light application of bronzer. So that's the B110. And then I'm going to compare it to the Hakuhodo K022. So this is the first fluffy brush that I got from Hakuhodo, and to be honest, I don't use this a whole lot, and I'll compare it to the B110. So they are very similarly shaped, but the K022, this one right here, is much sparser. So it's a lot more flexible, and the bristles are a little longer. So this is 38 millimeters, and I believe this is 40. So it's just slightly longer, and the bristles are cut more tapered with this one versus this one. So this one, the bristles are more, I guess, a little flatter, and this one is more rounded. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but see in the K022, the bristles around the perimeter are longer, and the B110, it's a little shorter. So they kind of cut it shorter here. So these are both, I use these both for the same purpose. The thing that is hard with this one is it just takes a long time to build up. So it's, it's for days that I just really don't want a lot of bronzer, and I just kind of want to pat it all over my face, that kind of thing. It's not going to be very specific because it's such a loosely packed brush, and it's such a flexible brush. that it's better just to kind of cover a big area in a short period of time. So that's what I use this one for. But if you had to, if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely pick the B110. I just think it's a lot more efficient and it's more versatile. So you can, this one, if you really wanted to get a specific area, you can. With this one, because it's so flat, it's really not, you know, it's not gonna have, it doesn't have it all, you know, it all pointed. So it's not at all pointed. So doing, you know, this type of thing with the K022 is very difficult. So those are those two fluffy brushes that I use. And then the other one that is very new to me is the Hakuhodo G511. So it's their small scroll and goat hair mix, and it's the smallest of the angled. So there's 3 of these that are shaped like this with the same hair type, and this is the smallest one. Now if I had to do this again, I would get the medium one. The reason I didn't is I didn't realize this was so small. And also the Hakuhodo mix, that a lot of the G series that are this hair mix, they've gotten really expensive. So I didn't want to invest that kind of money in a shape that I'm really not familiar with. So I really wanted to try an angled brush, and that's why I got this one. And I was planning to use it for bronzer, kind of like along this area. But because of the size and because of the hair type, it's just, I'll show you guys, it takes a long time to build up the color. So if you're someone that is very fair or likes a very light bronzer application, this would be good. For me, I'm more of like a medium skin tone, and I do like my bronzer brush a little bigger. So, you know, you can kind of try it on this side. Zoom you guys in a little. I just always forget to unzoom it, so try to remember. So I'll try showing you guys how I bronze with this one. But again, I don't think for my face shape and for my skin, this is a really good brush. I think because my face is a little too big for a fine brush like this, and you know, it's not covering a whole lot of space. And I've tried it for contour. It's just too, the bristles are just too fine. It just doesn't pick up enough product. And you know, see how many times I'm dipping back? It really just slowly builds the color. But if I had time and I wasn't really in a rush, I would definitely use this brush. So because this brush is the size and that it doesn't pick up a lot of product, it's not going to provide a very strong bronzer application. But if you are someone that really likes that type of look, just a very light kind of wash of color, then this would be really good. I just also, for me, think it's just too small. See, so like even when I'm trying to bronze this area, it's really not covering a lot of space. Sorry, my phone is about to turn it off. Okay, so it doesn't really cover a lot of space, is what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't really pick up a lot to do this, you know, efficiently. So that's how this one, the G511, works with bronzer. And then the next one I want to mention is the J210, and I use this for creams. So I use cream bronzer to contour. So like with the NARS Sun-Kissed bronzing cream, that's what I use a brush like this for. I'll like pat it in, and then I'll use it to contour, like right here, into this area, and also here. Like I'll kind of soften up like this edge right here, and it's the perfect shape to get under my cheekbone. But I have kind of like a big space right here, so maybe that's why this works well. I've seen a lot of other reviews of people with a lot of brushes that don't really like this brush, but I really like it. The only downside I found with this is that it sheds a lot. I've only had this not even a year, and it's shedding. Every time I use it, more bristles come out, and I could tell it's lost a lot of its resiliency. It's gotten a lot fluffier than it was, but I still love it. I'm trying not to use it too much because all the hairs that are coming out, but that's what I use this for, and I really like it for that. So that's the J210. And then the next one that I am using for bronzer is the Hakuhodo Yachiyo tapered medium. So this is the Yachiyo brushes. I really like them because I think they're so cute, but I'm probably not going to buy any more. For one, they shed a lot, and they're hard to store because of the way they are designed. They're very short, and it's just kind of awkward when I put it in my cups that I store them in. But I use this for I've only used this for creams. So similarly to the J210, that's what I use this for, and this is actually just more specific. So I can put a little bit more on this side to give you an idea of how this works with a cream bronzer. So, and this bronzer is very dark, so I just really lightly get some on there. And this, because of the point, it'll really do a very kind of strong line there if that's the look you're going for. And I do like that look. I do have a lot more than I usually do, but that's how I use this. And because of the bristles are very firm and they're tightly packed, it's good for this, and it's like good for this area with creams. So that's what I've been using the Yachiyo tapered brush for. I have the flat one that I also use for that, but this is losing so many hairs, I'm afraid to use that one anymore. So those are my Hakuhodo bronzing brushes. So I have a couple of other ones. Another one is the Koyudo BP13. So this is a foundation brush. I don't use it for foundation because it's just too big, and it doesn't get into crevices. It's just good if you want to like quickly spread the foundation on, but if you really want to get between your features, this is just not going to be specific enough. So I do like this for bronzing with a powder, very similarly to the B110 and the K022. One of the things also that this one of the shortcomings of this brush is it's just so big, it's hard to get it into a bronzing pan. Like for this one is way too small. I don't have a ton of bronzers, to be honest. It's just not something I buy a lot of. But if I were to use this, I would have to use one of those small pans, or use one of these bronzers that have a big pan. So I just kind of get a lot on there. And let me see. I mean, I use it like this too. And compared to those other two brushes that I showed you in the beginning, it will provide a little bit of a stronger application than the other two, because it is a very dense brush, and it also covers a lot of space, so it will get a lot done in a very short period of time, which is what I like. But if you wanted to do a very like a strong line here, this is not going to work. So if you like a very big diffused application, kind of like all over, this will be a very good brush. And I think this is a great value because you get a very versatile brush. You can also use this for powder, and that's usually what I use this for, because I have all those other bronzer brushes. But if I want to quickly powder my face or set my foundation, if this is clean, that's what I'll use it for, because it's just such an efficient brush and it works very fast. So that's the Koyudo BP13. Then the last one that I want to talk about that I use for bronzer is the Wayne Goss 12. Now I only use this for creams. It's meant for cream and powder, but I use this very similarly to the J210. So they kind of, you know, are a similar length. They're similar density. It's just, you know, the Wayne Goss is longer. So this I use with a cream. You know, I'll just pat in there. I don't know if I want to put any more. Well, I'll just show you guys. So I'll just kind of pat like that. And because of the shape, it'll contour with your bronzer really fast. And it does this really fast. If you want to bronze your neck a little, this is a really good brush for that. And to do this, and I really enjoy this. I also use it for cream blush because of the shape. It really kind of fits my style of blush, because I pretty much just put my blush here and I put it up a little bit around here, and it's a great size, and I just continue it here. So I'll show you guys really quickly how I use this most days. So I'll do the Nude Sticks Naughty and Spice. I really love this blush. It's the perfect kind of mauve blush, and I've been, see my shirt and my eyes and my lips. I really love this color on me, and I've been using this blush like non-stop. So I just kind of like, you know, lightly get some on there, and then I'll put it here on in the blush area. And that really gives, you know, very specific application, but I'm really enjoying this for my cream bronzer and my cream blush. So that's all that I have for today, and I'm waiting for a shipment, hopefully by maybe the end of this week, maybe early next week. And I'm going to be doing, trying to remember to zoom out. I'm going to do a video on brushes that I use for cream products. So stay on the lookout for that. And that's pretty much it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.